big update video. I'm not really clickbaiting, I am, but I'm also not. I want to kind of give you a breakdown of what's happening behind the scenes as I basically graduate from early games of YouTube and go into the mid game. And I think that for those of you that enjoy performance reviews and stuff like that and truly like understand the logic of analytics and content strategy, you might enjoy this. You might learn something. First up, little shout outs to Enryu. Enryu, the channel over here. Do you notice that his title of this video changed? I love playing this soundtrack. I think that the White Room soundtrack is amazing, but notice that the White Room soundtrack title is no longer White Room. It's a Moya emote. And am I so egotistical and narcissistic to think that he changed it in honor of me because I play this shit all the time during the drama videos? Here's a little hint. He's also a paid Patreon member on my side. I was like, what the hell? You watch my content? Shoutouts to Enryu. Gotta give a little Moya emote. Alright, so let's think about this. So, what I'm gonna break down to you today is what's changing in my channel in terms of content. So, note, our channel is basically, right? Channel identity, right? It's a variety content, right? Seasonal animes, right? And every season, every 3 months, right, we get brand new animes coming out and we check them all out and we try to basically make as much videos as we can. Right now, content output, it's 8 videos a day, main channel, right? Content output, like main channel, it's 8 videos a day, right? 3-hour intervals. You'll notice that like if you go to my channel, right? Have you noticed that there is like a pattern of behavior? That like every 3 hours, usually there is like, sometimes I'll be a little bit late because I like passed out sleeping or did something else. But you'll notice that like there are 3-hour intervals in which I upload the content. And this is basically after struggling and trying to figure out what works for me the best. I figured out an optimal workflow for my main channel where I think that 8 videos does make sense. 8 videos a day where 4 of them, right? Where 4 of them are YouTube, right? Sorry. YouTube reactions. Like, what do I mean by YouTube reactions? Well, I mean, look at shit like this, right? Whenever we react to Chibi, for example, right? Whenever we react to other stuff, talking about the seasonal animes, Light Novel Historian, right? So the interview, Crunchyroll stuff, these are things that I don't need to send over to Sir Gregor, who is my editor, who is in charge of editing the anime reactions. So 4 of them are YouTube reactions, and I think that one of the best things that I've done for my channel is to have these YouTube reactions. I straight up think that this separates me from so many of my other peers in the same category, because you'll notice that like most other reaction channels only do anime reactions, and that's perfectly fine, but I wanted to do something more. Basically, my channel is modeled after the Roach King Asmongold, and I don't give a fuck what you think about Asmongold, okay? If you hate him, great. If you love him, great. But what I'm trying to tell you is I really respect how he is able to pump out content that is so scalable. Little to no editing, he just reacts to videos that his community links, and he does extremely well. And because his channel identity is variety, his community based, right? Deep commentary, he's able to sustain himself for such a long period of time. I'm not doing content creation with like a short-term game plan. I'm thinking this 10, 20 years down the line. This channel, while it may have started off doing only anime seasonal reactions, I didn't really know exactly what I was doing, right? In the beginning, I just kind of started and I saw other popular channels like your boy Roshi, for example, right? Doing really well. And I realized maybe the game plan is just to do seasonal content. Turns out that's the biggest trap you should do. In fact, I would heavily dissuade any new reaction channels to ever go down the same path that I did in the beginning. If you want to start a reaction channel, don't base it on my main content. Check my second channel out. A little plug here. This is how you should basically start your reaction channel. Pick a popular show, do a big fat opening reaction to it. Get the algorithm to basically stain your audience by that flavor, and then only farm one video, right? Only farm that one topic. The more focused you are, the better the recommendation system can basically scale your content, figure out who your audience even is, and you'll get way more viewership. Notice how every single video, bro, we're just clearing 10K watching Ben 10. Ben 10 is not a trending series. This is an old ass fucking cartoon that started in 2004. But because, again, after I farmed all of Beyblade and we got a lot of views and built a sizable community, I then pivoted by asking my community, right? What do you want to watch? I constantly ask people, what do you want to watch, right? And then they voted Ben 10. So I did a Ben 10 opening reaction and boom, we got the algorithm to hit. And then what did I do? I just only made Ben 10. And notice how every video here is way better performing than any of my, main channel content, despite the main channel being 35,000 subscribers. Isn't that stupid, bro? Ain't that fucking retarded? Genuinely stupid that a channel, that's actually crazy that the second channel is about to hit 10K, but sub count doesn't matter. It's all about how much focus you can get into a specific niche and, scale off of that. Anyways, we're getting off topic. The idea is don't do this. Don't do seasonal content like this. What I'm trying to get at is, in the past, seasonal content is a waste of time. And I'll show you and I'll prove to you with the analytics here, right? If we look at the analytics here, you'll notice that there is a time period when literally nothing is happening. Notice this. Notice how the life, and by the way, this is my second channel too. Kaka TV that exists here is a channel that I created after I deleted the main channel, which also farms seasonal content, getting no fucking traction. When you only do seasonal content, you will never grow. You're wasting your time trying to compete with the big boys. And all you're doing is fragmenting your audience. People who watch this shit don't watch this. People who watch this shit don't watch this. People who watch this shit don't watch it. You get what I mean? That's why the second channel does so well. You only focus on one thing and you build off of that. Fuck these trends and all these different things that you think you're missing out on. The more you diversify your channel, the more harder it is to ever actually build something, if you want like momentum to happen. And notice that momentum starts to change around here. This is when I said fuck seasonal anime and I start to focus on community series. And you'll realize that in 3-month intervals, because again, seasonal anime is also in 3-month intervals, there is a spike that happens and a new baseline that gets established. And we have amazing growth because I focus on the community, right? Asking people, what do you want to watch? And now, here it is, right? 4 of them are anime reactions. But even within this 4 of the anime reactions, right? Have you noticed that we don't just farm anime reactions? Not okay. Some are seasonal anime, right? Some are community anime. Do you know what I mean by seasonal and community? When I do these polls and I ask you guys, what do you want to watch? The most recent one is Saiki K, right? This is what I mean by community series. And man, Saiki K reactions are actually stupid in how well they're doing right now. I didn't even realize that Saiki is clearing 10K casually. Like that. And why is that the case? Because we pulled this shit in. And because we pulled this shit in, recently, 1 month ago, there is a much more newer, modern audience that exists in my channel that wants to watch it and therefore they're watching it. But this isn't the only community series we're watching right now. Because we also have Railgun, right? And some of you might not even realize that's happening, but this video right here, right? And notice how it only gets 2K views? There's a lot of reason for it. Does the background music change? Oh, god damn it. Why is this not looping? I might have to cut that part out. I might have to just mute that audio part out. So basically what has been, you don't need to know. It doesn't really matter. Anyways, the idea right now is, okay, we have, right? 2 community series, right? Railgun, right? Twaru, right? Twaru, and what else is it? Twaru and what's it called? Saiki K. And the reason that I want you to understand this workflow is because I think that we are fucking up right now by having too many community series. Even though I've shown you that community series is what led to this growth, there are different strategies in different levels of audience that I think people need to adhere for. When you're starting from the beginning, you can't just enter into seasonal content. But at the same time, when you get big enough and people are now starting to recognize my face and my content, right? People are genuinely starting to realize that, oh, it's Kaka TV. And I'm not saying that I'm anyone significant, but it is also undeniable that like I'm starting to make a little bit of moves in the seasonal anime like niche where people are starting to watch me more and more. And because of that, we don't really need to rely on community series as much. This doesn't mean I'm gonna drop the community series, but there's a problem right now. And the problem is, right? Too many fucking seasonal anime. When we do 4 reactions a day, some days there's like 4 weeklies to watch. And when you have 4 weeklies to watch, now these community series are getting pushed more back and back and back. And that's a problem. Why is that a problem? Because it loses momentum. When you start to like delay community series and people are waiting 4 or 5, maybe even a week, people lose track of what you were even doing and you get fucked. And because right now we're juggling Twaru and Saiki K, I think that the Saiki K viewership, right? Again, it's pretty good. The Saiki K viewership, absolutely, it's fantastic, 10K, 8K, 7K. But I can definitely see a future where this starts to fall off real quick because we decided to fuck around too much with weeklies. In terms of the other community series, Railgun, right? There's another issue with Railgun. And the issue with Railgun stems from obviously a lack of viewership, but it's not that bad. It's honestly doing pretty good. Like if you're hitting for 3.7K, nearly 4K, right, for these exciting episodes, I think that that's plenty fine. We don't need to hit 10K on everyone like Saiki K. But the issue with Railgun is when this got voted in, bro, Twaru is a series that literally started when? 5 months ago. 5 fucking months ago, we started the opening for Railgun and it did really well. And it was fine in the beginning. But the problem is, plenty of new people have now joined the channel and the audience changes. The audience does not stay the same. This subscriber count, again, there's a lot of dead subs. It's a constantly changing thing where you as a content creator need to know how to like rein in. You need to understand who's watching you right now. I don't give a fuck about my sub count. I care who are the recent people watching my channel right now. And because the new people coming in never voted for Railgun, of course Railgun's gonna do bad. And on top of that, we keep getting delayed more and more. Now, this doesn't mean I'm dropping Railgun. This doesn't mean I'm dropping Railgun. But in order for us to be focused, right? Sometimes less is more. We need to stop doing so many community series. So, this is a game plan. Game plan. Focus on Saiki K. While the iron is hot for Saiki K, as it is a brand new community series that we just pulled up, the game plan is to focus on that and make sure that that show gets a reaction every day, or if not every other day. What does that mean for Railgun? It doesn't mean that it's gonna stop. Right now on Patreon and Twitch side of things, sorry, Kick side of things, by the way, every content we do also, you know, we basically live stream this, right? Where every day I stream like 6 to 8 hours, right? Hours on Kick. And basically then, all videos are, you know, recorded during the stream, right? Unedited content put on Patreon, right? Then edited content on YouTube, right? But like during this 6 to 8 hours, I think the goal is to focus on the communities, on the seasonal anime and one community series. And right now we are basically done. Like on Patreon, we're done with Toaru Railgun S, and it was a fantastic watch. And right now, we are about to start Index Season 3. But I think the good idea is delay Index Season 3. We have Index Season 3, Accelerator, and Railgun T. That's the lineup, and that's a lot of fucking anime to watch. That's like 24 something episodes for Index Season 3, 24 episodes for Railgun T, and like a 12 for Accelerator, right? That's a fucking fat roster, like 60 something episodes, right? But I'm not gonna do that now. I think the game plan is to focus on Saiki K, finish that off, and Railgun uploads will be completed. Railgun S will be completed, but I'm not gonna watch Index 3 until Saiki K is done, right? Focus on Saiki K, then focus on Toaru, right? That's the game plan. Now, the game plan will be content, right? Now, this part, right? Content output, basically, new content output will be, I think we're going to still retain this, obviously. That's the bread and butter. 4 of them are anime reactions. But I think that like roughly 3 are seasonal anime. Roughly 3. It could be 3 to 4. Who knows, right? Some days it's just going to be straight to 4, right? Some days it's just 2. It depends, right? 2 to 4 are seasonal anime. And basically, 1 community anime. And I think that focusing on just 1 community anime is like the best we can get out of these series. I straight up think that Toaru will be doing way better right now if we would focused on 1 thing only and delivered on that. But because I took on way too much to do, things get distracted. Things get too much diverted. And doesn't mean, again, I'm not dropping Toaru. It just means that I'm gonna give you Index 3, Accelerator, and Railgun T all in one go every day as soon as Saiki K is done. And once these are done, right, and it's gonna suck. Toaru is not gonna perform well, in my opinion, as well as Saiki K, because again, people who voted this shit in does not exist right now. But again, you just gotta tank through it, and I love Railgun, and just because we, you know, quote unquote, tank through the Toaru analytics, doesn't really mean that channel's gonna die. It's gonna be perfectly fine. So this is a new content output, right? We're gonna focus on seasonal anime, and even if the seasonal anime does bad, like I don't think we're gonna continue Moonrise. It really depends. But like, we're at a point where like, I can afford to carry on underperforming shows. Like, for example, Summer Podcast, 2K views 4 days ago. Usually I would just drop it, but I'm thinking, you know what? It's fine. Let's continue with it. The more seasonal anime that I can cover, the more relevant anime news I can also cover with the YouTube reaction portion. And I think in the long term, just like thinking long-term planning, strategic planning, the identity of this channel, right? Channel identity, right? It's no longer, I mean, here's the end game goal. No longer just anime reactions. Doesn't mean we won't do anime reactions. This is bread and butter. Absolutely, we're going to be doing anime reaction. That's the money maker. That's the gravy train. But a lot of people struggle to graduate beyond tourism. What do I mean by that? A lot of people genuinely don't understand the audience that they have. Here is the natural life cycle of what happens. If you look at 3 separate audience members, I have 3 circles here to kind of give you 3 separate audience members. These are tourists. These are new people coming in due to trends, right? Due to different trends, right? Solo leveling, blah, 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 you know, Dan to Dan, whatever. They're tourists and they all come through this way. And it's important. You need tourists, right? You need tourists. But the issue is when you focus only on tourists, notice that you have no community being built. A very important distinction you need to make is you need to basically convert these tourists into loyal community members. These people are people who watched the seasonal content, who knew me from like seasonal content like Solo Leveling or Eminence in Shadow or ReZero, blah, 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 and decided to stick around because they enjoy my commentary. Not everyone's gonna stick around, but that's totally fine. Your goal is to target tourists by using trends and make sure that they don't just immediately go out, right? So many people just do this. New people come in and then they just exit because they don't actually give a fuck about you. They only care about the show you're watching. They only care about the game you're playing, and you're stuck in tourist hell. if you want to do this shit long term, you need conversion rate of dead, hardcore, loyal members. You need, you know, and these people right over here are people that's sticking around to check out some community stuff, right? Maybe now, you know, these people are starting to realize, oh shit, he's polling, he's watching Saiki K, he's watching Toru. I'ma check that out too. Now, no longer they're only watching me for just those shows, they're checking me out for a broader spectrum. And then you get here where these motherfuckers will watch you for anything. Whatever you do, they're sticking around because you have basically converted them into actual cult members where now they're watching you for you. You are a personality-based channel. That's where you need to get to. But most people never even get here. They can't even do this because they don't understand fundamentally different types of audiences. They just see videos and numbers and think, oh, this number did well, this number didn't do well. See, when I look at these numbers, do you know what I think? This is what I think. 10K views on To Be Hero X. Do you really think all those people are my loyal community members? Fuck no. They're tourists coming in. When I look at something like Saiki K though, I do think that these are community members because I voted that shit in. When I look at a show like Yaiba, 1.7K, what does that tell me? I think that 1.7K are genuinely all these motherfuckers who are willing to watch me for whatever I do because it performs so bad due to, there's a lot of different variables, but notice how there's no tourist here, right? People don't understand the numbers or the metrics, and they basically think that this new baseline will be forever when that's not the case, and you gotta maintain expectations. And anyways, this is like the audience, like basically just like idea of converting people. I think we're getting a little bit off track. So we're gonna do this, right? Personality based, right? Personality based channel. Right? Commentary, right? On various topics. I don't know when this is gonna pivot, but right now we're like in that, like, in video game terms, we are in the beginning of the mid game, in my opinion. I think we have now graduated from small content creator, where we are now bringing in numbers where we can kind of say like we're in the early mid game, right? And at this point, the strategy's gotta change. Now I can actually start to fuck around with some of the seasonal content. Like I said, when I tried to do that in the beginning, not a good idea. But when you have built up a following like this, now what you can do is start to kind of try to do more and more seasonal content. And I think that that is a better plan, moving forward. So all in all, more seasonal content, one focused community series such that nothing gets dragging behind. And here's the other thing too. This, I don't know when this is gonna happen, but this is a plan that I'm planning to execute sometime in the nearby future. Right now, and here's the thing, right? Currently, the content output, right, is 8 videos a day on the main channel. But you gotta realize that there's also second channel, right? 1 video a day. So if you combine all of this together, we're doing about like, right? During 6 to 8 hours live stream, this is what I'm able to record. And it's a very healthy balance. I think that I figured out a balance where I'm pushing myself as hard as I can without burning out so I can do this daily. But I'm also not like just basically showing up, recording one thing and fucking off. I have a good workflow where I'm maximizing the amount of time that I record on stream. But third channel, right? English dub content, right? The third channel, there is no way that I can farm Battle Shonen. Battle Shonen has been always such a fucking... It's always been a... It's always been a chip on my shoulder where I'm so upset that I can't get the same level of viewership as those who are basically one-trick ponying into One Piece, Naruto, My Hero Academia, Boruto, and so on. How many times do you see One Piece only channels that get so many fucking views? It's the same idea as my second channel. In fact, the second channel is an experiment based on my hypothesis that if you're a one-trick pony and you focus on one thing only, you can get way more out of it. And I've proven that. And with the same idea, I know that the main channel will never be able to farm, you know, Hunter x Hunter, Black Clover, Fairy Tail, Naruto, One Piece, blah, blah, blah. When there's seasonal anime happening, like My Hero Academia Vigilantes, I'll cover it. But the idea for the second, third channel is the same thing as the second channel. I'm gonna do every Black Clover opening, lead into it, hope that it pops off, and deliver one video a day. But here's the problem. Do we do 9 videos or 10 videos? Because we have 8 for the main channel, 1 for the second channel, and that's where 9 videos are at, and it's perfect amount. I could push one more. And honestly, it's not that big a deal. It's just one more recording session. It's just 40 more minutes on average that I have to extend this train to make content. It's not gonna kill me. But I'm in the back of my head, I'm thinking, do I add one more? Or do I take one away from this such that it becomes like this? Do you know what I'm saying? Because the idea here is the more that I do in content in the main channel, it doesn't mean that the main channel is going to grow more and more. There are diminishing returns. And you can see by this graph what I mean by the diminishing returns. Notice how fucking stable. For example, if I just like use the last 28 days, notice how so consistent and stable the viewership is. And I've noticed that no matter how much I push, no matter how much different trends I got carried, there is this invisible ceiling, right? There is this invisible ceiling that I've noticed that I just can't seem to get away from. Here's what I mean by that. This is what I mean by the invisible ceiling. What I've noticed is during these periods of growth, there's one over here. I believe there's one over here, the 3-month intervals, right? There is kind of one over here. There's one over here, overnight growth, right? There's one over here. This is ReZero, I think, during October. And then this is sister leveling and shit fucking me up. I've noticed that there is always this invisible floor and ceiling that is so consistent, right? Like this here, right? You get the point, right? But it's so consistent. It is so fucking consistent. You get the idea, right? You get the idea. This was a very interesting period. This period was very interesting because this area right over here was ReZero. This was ReZero carrying. And ReZero phase was so fucking crazy. I've never experienced any level of growth like ReZero before on YouTube, Twitch, and Patreon. And on top of that, we were uploading like 10 videos a day here, straight up, like 10 to 12 videos, right? And it was just unsustainable though. I tried to milk the most I could during the ReZero phase, but it was honestly unsustainable. At this point, I decided to back off doing 8 videos. And that's why the growth isn't as, like, you can see the ceiling here, and you can kind of see the floor here, right? That's why the growth is kind of marginal, even though we did have a spike. But if you think about the trend that is carrying, and if we think about the reduction in the content volume, it kind of makes sense. And now we're kind of in this period with sister leveling and a new season line that's kind of fucking us up. And basically the algorithm kind of establishes a new baseline. If you take the averages of these 2 spikes, right? If you take the averages of these 2 spikes, I still do believe that the new baseline is somewhere here. And because of the shadow band that I talk about, if you've seen my other analytic videos, you understand exactly what I'm talking about. This part is kind of compensating for this part. Anyways, you don't need to know about that. The idea is, no matter how much I fucking pump the videos, it's just like I can't get past this ceiling. The ceiling is so consistent. And no matter how much I do bad on YouTube too, there is this floor. The algorithm is designed to keep it kind of very consistent. And why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this because I don't think me doing more videos here is gonna change anything in the main channel. We have a good thing going, and I think the current workflow is perfect. So instead, what if I do 3 and 5 like this? And we just kind of maintain what's existing so that I don't fucking go crazy. We can make the third channel. There is diminishing returns happening in the main channel, as you can see, and we can get way more out of that one taken video. That one video here, by the way, this one extra -3 is so significant because that one right now in the main channel could be a video like, and no offense, like Moonrise, right? That one video that I dedicated to recording and paid Sir Gregor to edit could turn out like this. Or I can have every video fucking bang like this. Does it just not make sense that it would be way more optimal to not force as much here? Take a little bit of a breather. Still have 8 videos coming out by adding one, just offsetting that, and just basically just like allocate it into the third channel. I think that just makes sense. The amount of money that I'm literally making from the second channel is fucking stupid in comparison to the main channel because of how focused I am. But it doesn't mean that like I'm gonna give up on the main channel. The main channel is still, if I had a choice basically and you told me, do I want to keep my second channel or the main channel? I choose main channel every single day because this is eternal. We've reached the point where it's a commentary based channel where I can react to any fucking thing. Commentary videos on relative anime content or even other stuff that highlights my personality. It has become that variety channel that is so fucking hard to do. It takes years of effort to do that. These channels are just highly optimized one-trick ponies that highly gets carried by one topic but can pivot and still go on and go on. And I think moving forward, that is the idea. All other alt channels will be one-trick ponies that focuses on one thing, but the main channel will be basically a personality channel, right? Where this is the core idea. And that's pretty much it. I think I'm done yapping. TLDR, the most important thing is there will be a halt on Twaru reactions on the Patreon, Kick, and the early access side of stuff to focus on Psyche K. But it doesn't mean we're dropping it. We're gonna focus on Psyche K to make sure that the momentum is consistent and we can get the most out of it. Once that's done, we will basically tank through Twaru and make sure that's completed. And once after that's done, we're gonna have this, strategy of many seasonal animes. Even if they're tanking, I don't really care. And one community anime to keep that shit going. And that's pretty much it. That's my content strategy. Hopefully you guys understood what I'm really talking about and kind of, just because like you don't do anime reactions. If you do anime reactions, then perfect. This is even more like detailed like examples that you can base your content out of. But this, again, understand the concepts that I'm talking about. And the most important takeaway is, do not try to do so many different topics. Your growth will be nothing. You will never have significant growth if right off the bat you try to do too many things. So many newbies get caught in the trap of trying to cast the widest net possible, but it turns out if you cast the widest net possible, you catch fucking nothing. What you want to do, right? What you want to do is this. Instead of having shallow little buckets, right? Instead of having shallow little buckets like this, what you want is one giant fucking bucket. You get what I'm saying? Don't do this. This will only fragment your audience. But if you do this, focus on one thing and deliver on that and then pivot, that's how you build momentum on YouTube. And it's just a counterintuitive thing that a lot of people fail at, right? Because again, like how many reaction channels exist out there where they just get like an average of like 50 views per video? Because if you look at the pattern behavior, all they do is cover seasonal anime. Listen, I was there. I've been doing this shit for fucking 3 years, and 2 years of that was just wasted time. The only significant growth has been in the most recent year, and it has been so fucking profound that I can do this shit as a full-time, living now, right? So hopefully you understood some shit, and that's it from me. Bye-bye.